It's such a beautiful blessing and beautiful joy to be with you all today. And I was actually glad that the previous panel went on a little bit longer so that I had the opportunity to listen as well. This topic that I've been given is such a blessing to actually be able to speak about Shakti, this divine feminine, because this is in so many ways our culture. If you look at our spiritual culture, what you'll see is it's anchored and it's rooted in the divine feminine, in Shakti. Yes, of course, we have the Navaratri celebrations, we have Diwali celebrations, we have these very specific holidays, of course. But more than that, if you actually look at the depth of every minute and every moment of that culture, it's all rooted in Shakti. Look, for example, when we take the name of God, we say usually Radha Krishna, or Sita Ram, or Lakshmi Narayan. Sabse pehle, Shakti. When after our prayers or our puja, or here at Parmarth Nikatan in Rishikesh after our sacred Ganga Arti, when we chant the mantras, and we chant Tvameva Mata, Chapita Tvameva, Sabse pehle Ma, Sabse pehle Shakti. That mother energy, that Shakti energy, that feminine energy is always first. And of course, at the end, we say, Ganga Maya ki jai, Dharti Mata ki jai, Go Mata ki jai, Bharat Mata ki jai. It's all Mata. It's all Shakti. It's all that feminine energy. And even if you look at our language, that which goes back to the very roots, the very core of our Sanskriti, look at the way that the language is. In English, which is a very impoverished language in many ways, we don't have masculine or feminine aspects of words. But of course, in Sanskrit, we do. In Hindi, we do. And if you look at the word for the creation, the word is Shrishti, feminine. If you look at the word for nature, Prakriti, feminine. If you look at the word for that energy through which creation is created, through which nature is created, through which everything happens, Shakti. So it's actually all feminine. And if you look at the practices that our sages and our saints and our rishis and our yogis gave, we just were listening to the beautiful, beautiful words of our sister Jayanti ji, speaking from such a beautiful depth about this practice of Raja Yoga, our beautiful era, giving us so much wisdom from the science of yoga. And if you look at the roots of what our yogis, our sages, our saints, our mystics gave us, that energy, these practices, are focused so much also on that feminine energy, that kundalini energy. So that which is created is feminine. The energy through which it's created is feminine. That through which we want to anchor and connect within ourselves, it's feminine. So much of the practices are feminine. If you look at the powers, जो चीज जो हम जीवन में प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं, चाहे ज्ञान हो, wisdom. Well, who do we pray to for wisdom? Ma Saraswati. abundance, prosperity, that experience not just of material wealth on the most superficial level, but actually the deep, deep prosperity, deep wealth, deep abundance, which is peace, which is joy, which is spiritual connection. All of that prosperity and abundance, वो हमको कौन देते हैं? Mahalakshmi. When we feel afraid or we feel like there's some need of protection in our lives, who do we pray to? Ma Durga. When we want to be purified, whether from the games of our own mind, our anger, our grudges, our ego, our illusions, our fears, our challenges, who do we pray to? Ma Ganga. Whether we are thinking about sins or mistakes that we've done in the past, in this life, or in past births, or just that which keeps us stuck and blocked, we pray to Ma Ganga. Here on the banks of Ganga, every evening, we gather together for yagna and arti. But all day long, people come from all over the world. Ki bas ek dupki lagao. माँ की तत्वों में ध्यान करे, पूजा करे. क्यों? क्योंकि फिर मोक्ष मिलेगा. We will become purified. We will attain freedom. But if you look at all of these things, whether it's wisdom, whether it's prosperity and abundance, whether it's protection, whether it's purification or moksha, who are we looking to? We're looking to the Mother Goddess. And if you look at that which actually sustains our physical lives, the air, the water, the soil, well, it's Mother Earth, Ma Vasudha. Our honorable Prime Minister took this beautiful teaching of Vasudev Kutumbakam and made it something known not only in India, but actually across the world by making it the theme and the motto of the G20. The world is one family, one world, one family, one future. Beautiful. But it's important to realize that Vasudev Kutumbakam does not mean that we are one random family or one amorphous family. It means very specifically, we are the family of Vasudha, the goddess of the earth. So Ma Vasudha is the one who actually gives us everything we need to live. And then jo jo hum chahte hain, जिस के लिए हम प्रार्थना करते हैं, हम माँ को ही प्रार्थना करते हैं. These prayers are so frequently, almost everything we are praying for, we're praying to the divine feminine. So it's exquisite, it's beautiful. This is the only culture in the world I know of that actually worships the feminine in such a way and in such a depth, and that is actually aware of the presence of that Shakti, of that feminine energy within all of us. Because of course, Shakti isn't only in women. Shakti is in all of us, that divine feminine principle. The dilemma arises when we move from our mandirs, from our puja, from our prayers, from our shastra, into our society. We're very good at worshiping the Mother Goddess, worshiping the divine feminine in our mandirs, in our mantras, in our pujas, in the scriptures. We're not so good at it in society. And that's really what we need today, because Shakti is not meant to exist only in our temples, only in deities, only in prayers. If we don't bring that reverence, that love that celebration of the Shakti into our world, into our societies. Well, this is why we're seeing all of that mess that we're in today, from war and terrorism to violence to human rights abuses to environmental destruction. This is because we are forgetting the feminine. We're forgetting that energy. And so we need to bring it into our societies. Just today, I was saying goodbye to a young girl, 24 years old. She's been living here for the last 2 years, taking care of my mother. My mother had a very, very severe cerebral hemorrhage, a brain stroke 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago. And after 6-7 months in Los Angeles, where I'm from originally, in the very best hospitals, the very best centers, the doctors there had said, there's nothing else they can do. So we bring her to Rishikesh. Puja Swamiji said, Unko Maganga ke kinare lekar aao. So we bring her to Rishikesh, bring her to live with me here at Parmarth Nikatan. And I've had these wonderful, wonderful young women taking care of her. And one of them is 24. And today she had to leave. Why? Because her marriage has been arranged into a family where she's never met the guy. She's met his mother once or twice. She has no idea what her life's going to be like. She's terrified. She sobbed and sobbed and sobbed in my arms today. And you think, really? Like, in today's world, we need to ship off young girls into terrifying situations that they have not only no control over or autonomy over or agency in, but not even any awareness of. What is this world I'm going into? She's never been to the village where she's going to now have to live. She doesn't know any of the other family members. She doesn't know the neighbors. She doesn't have anyone. And you think, really? There's not another way to keep our culture, our societies, our families operating and running in wonderful ways than terrifying and traumatizing our young girls? So we need, and this was just today's example that's in my mind and my heart. But all of you women there, in whatever sphere you're in, whatever sector you're in, you know the situation. We know the situation in the world of religion. We know the situation in the world of corporates. We know it in the world of politics. We know it everywhere. By God's grace and with a lot of wonderful, wonderful work being done by the government from the highest levels to the lowest levels, being done by so many different NGOs, being done by so many leaders. Slowly, slowly, things are changing. But they need to change a little faster than slowly, 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 slowly. Until and unless we have women as 50%. We are 50% of the global population. But women are the ones who not only occupy half of the places on planet Earth, but actually are the ones who are determining so much of the future of the planet through being the mothers, through being the ones who are inculcating the children with sanskaras and values and ethics. The mother is the first teacher. Whether she's actually literate or not doesn't matter nearly as much. Teaching them in our homes, in our communities. And so much of that actually comes from the women. But until and unless we have at least 50% of women sitting at our board meetings, sitting around that table, sitting on the stages, not just being the ones to come out bringing the, souvenirs or the shawls or singing Saraswati Vandana in the beginning, but actually as the leaders in all of these sectors. Until and unless that happens, we don't have the benefit of bringing these really critical feminine qualities into the world. Our Sanatan culture, our Sanskriti, is perhaps the only culture in the world that speaks about the balance between masculine and feminine energies in such a powerful way. We speak about and emphasize and worship the Ardhanashwar, this not half feminine, half masculine, because that implies that somehow the creation can be split in half, 50-50. It's not that. But it's this perfect blend, this woven together tapestry of masculine energies and feminine energies. And until we have that in our societies, we're not going to be able to bring in the nurturing, the nourishing, the compassion, the care, the tenderness, that spirit of cooperation rather than spirit of competition. That spirit of caretaking and sharing rather than grabbing and grasping. And that's what we need today. The mother's lap is the place where her fighting children come and make up. And when we don't have that metaphoric presence of the mother's lap in politics, in so many areas, we don't have the space then for people to come together and to really forge peace. And so as women and men in our societies, it's so critical to really work on first finding it within ourselves. And I think the most important thing here is, as women especially, but not exclusively, I know this is a major issue for men as well, but especially for women, one of the major dilemmas and one of the major causes of this disempowerment that we speak about, especially among women who have lots of access to education, to training, to opportunities, but that sense of disempowerment comes from having to spend so much of our mental time and energy, so much of our resources, thinking about what we look like. If you actually have women add up really honestly, really transparently, how much of our mental energy, our thoughts, how much of our actual time is spent thinking about, working on, trying to fix in some way our skin color, the size or the shape of our bodies, our beauty according to whatever some kind of cultural standard may be, our eligibility to have, whether it's the husband, whether it's the job, whether it's the opportunity that we want, so much of which is tragically focused on looks. And so as women, we need to first coming together in a global sisterhood, supporting each other, honoring each other, celebrating each other, raising each other up. Absolutely commit that we are not going to let ourselves be disempowered by marketing, by media, by advertising, by all of these different products and whatnot that continually try to convince us that we're not the right shape, we're not the right color, we're not the right weight, that there is something wrong with who we are, of which we need to be ashamed, feel awful, and then, of course, go out and purchase their product or treatment for that which is wrong with us, whether it's losing weight, gaining weight, whether it's being too fair or too dark, whatever it may be. But this is what is stealing so much of our time and energy. And so we need to commit to throwing that out. We need to commit to supporting each other because, yeah, there's a major issue, we know, with getting the men to create those spaces. But there's also a major issue with getting our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, metaphoric and literal, to actually join hands together and to really create a global sisterhood of Shakti that isn't competing with each other, that isn't living in some illusion of scarcity, that your gain is my loss, but that actually is bringing us all together. So as we come together here today, it's such a joy and such an honor. Yesterday was Thanksgiving in the United States, where originally I'm from. And it's a beautiful time to anchor in gratitude. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be together with you today and to have this opportunity to really come together in a sisterhood of Shakti. Because when women come together in love, in oneness, and when men, lastly, allow themselves to embody and embrace that divine feminine within them, without worrying about or being teased about being too girly or being too feminine or being criticized, then we are going to be able to bring back a balance of peace, of oneness, and of sustainability to the planet. So thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity to be with you. I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to fly to Mumbai, but in any case, with a topic around Shakti and Divine Feminine, it feels very beautiful that I'm able to address you from the banks of Mother Ganga.